Welcome back to History of Simple Things. Today's topic comes from one of our viewers, Joseph George Hetro. Thanks for the suggestion. You asked, what exactly is homesickness? It's something almost everyone has experienced at some point in life. Maybe it happens when you move away for school, travel to another country, or spend time far from the people and places you know best. Suddenly, even if everything around you seems exciting, there's a quiet feeling pulling you back toward home. So what exactly causes this powerful emotion, and why do humans experience it in the first place? Stick around as we explore the psychology, history, and surprising science behind homesickness, right here on History of Simple Things. Despite the name, homesickness isn't really about the physical building you live in. It's more about the emotional connection to familiar people, routines, and environments that make you feel safe. Psychologists define homesickness as the distress or anxiety caused by being separated from home and the people or places associated with it. It's a form of adjustment stress that happens when someone moves to a new and unfamiliar environment. When people feel homesick, they often miss ordinary things: family members, pets, favorite foods, familiar streets, or even the sounds and smells of home. Sometimes it's not just one thing, but the entire sense of belonging that comes from being somewhere familiar. Interestingly, homesickness isn't considered a mental disorder. Instead, it's seen as a normal emotional response to separation and change. In fact, studies suggest that most people experience some level of homesickness when they move away from home for the first time. The idea of homesickness isn't new. In fact, the concept has been recognized for centuries. The term nostalgia was first coined in 1688 by a Swiss physician named Johannes Hofer. He used it to describe a condition observed in Swiss soldiers who were fighting far from home. Many of them became deeply sad, anxious, and withdrawn because they longed to return to their homeland. Hofer believed nostalgia was a medical illness caused by the brain obsessing over memories of home. At the time, doctors thought the condition could lead to fever, insomnia, or even death if it became severe. Today we know that homesickness isn't a disease, but Hofer's observations were surprisingly accurate. Being separated from familiar surroundings really can affect a person's emotional and physical well-being. Over time, the concept evolved. What was once seen as a medical illness is now understood as a natural psychological response to separation and change. Homesickness exists because humans are deeply social creatures. Our brains are wired to form attachments to people and places that make us feel secure. When you grow up in a particular environment, your brain becomes familiar with certain routines, faces, smells, and sounds. These familiar cues help create a sense of stability. When those cues suddenly disappear, your brain has to adapt to a completely new situation. This adjustment period can trigger feelings of stress or discomfort. Another reason homesickness occurs is related to attachment theory, a psychological concept developed by John Bowlby. Bowlby proposed that humans form strong emotional bonds with caregivers and familiar environments during childhood. These bonds create a sense of safety. When we move far away from those attachments, even as adults, our brain may react with feelings of anxiety or longing. Homesickness, in many ways, is our mind trying to reconnect with that sense of security. Homesickness can show up in many different ways, and not all of them are emotional. Emotionally, people may feel sadness, loneliness, anxiety, or irritability. They might constantly think about home or idealize it, remembering only the good parts. But homesickness can also affect the body. Some people experience trouble sleeping, headaches, loss of appetite, or difficulty concentrating. Students who feel strongly homesick sometimes struggle academically because their thoughts keep drifting back to home. Research also shows that homesickness can increase stress hormones in the body, particularly during the first few weeks after moving somewhere new. However, these symptoms usually improve as people begin adjusting to their new surroundings. Anyone can feel homesick, but some situations make it more likely. Children attending overnight camps often experience it during the first few days away from their parents. College students frequently feel it when they move into dorms for the first time. Migrants and international students may experience it even more strongly because they are adjusting not only to a new place, but sometimes to a new language and culture. Interestingly, people who have strong, healthy family relationships are sometimes more likely to feel homesick. That's because they have stronger emotional bonds with the people and environment they left behind. But personality also plays a role. People who are naturally anxious or who struggle with major changes may feel homesickness more intensely. Still, experiencing homesickness doesn't mean someone is weak or immature. It simply means they have meaningful connections to the people and places they left behind. The good news is that homesickness almost always fades over time. As people spend more time in a new environment, they begin building new routines, friendships, and familiar places. These new connections slowly replace the sense of loss that comes from leaving home. Psychologists often recommend a few simple strategies to help ease homesickness. Staying connected with family through calls or messages can help maintain emotional support. At the same time, it's important to explore the new environment and create new experiences. Joining social groups, developing routines, and personalizing living spaces with familiar objects can also make a new place feel more like home. In essence, the brain gradually learns that this new environment can also be safe and comforting. Homesickness may feel uncomfortable, but it's actually a sign of something positive. It shows that you have strong emotional bonds with people, places, and memories that matter to you. From Swiss soldiers in the 1600s to modern students moving into college dorms, humans have always struggled with the challenge of leaving familiar places behind. Yet homesickness rarely lasts forever. As we explore new environments and build new relationships, our sense of home slowly expands. And that's the fascinating thing about being human. Home isn't just a place on a map. It's something we carry with us, and something we can create again wherever life takes us. Thank you for watching. If you have suggestions for our next video, feel free to share them in the comments below. We'll be sure to give you an acknowledgement for your contribution. Thank you for joining us on this journey through the history of simple things. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and stay tuned for more stories woven through the smallest details.